Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to lesson 18 of Straight Path Academy Arabic Volume 1, Reading Arabic Letters. In this lesson, we learn two letters that only come at the end of a word. Firstly, this is the alif maqsura. And the alif maqsura sounds like the English letter A. So the alif maqsura sounds like the letter alif. For example, the a sound at the end of the word fatwa is the alif maqsura. This is how it looks alone, and this is how it looks at the end of a connection. Now the alif maqsura, it looks similar to the letter ya, except the alif maqsura has no dots, whereas the letter ya has two dots beneath. So next we have the ta marbuta. And the ta marbuta sounds like the letter T, or the Arabic letter ta. But that's only if its haraka is pronounced. If its haraka is not pronounced, then it sounds like the soft H, or the Arabic letter ha. And if we look at the ta marbuta, we can see it is written as a combination between the letter ta, which has two dots above, and the letter ha, which looks like a hole. So for example, a very common Arabic word that ends with a ta marbuta is the word salah. The second pillar of Islam is establishing salah. So when I just say the word salah without pronouncing a haraka at the end, it's going to sound like this, salah. However, sometimes you will hear somebody pronounce a T at the end of the word salah. For example, if they say it's time to pray, salatul fajr. In this case, they pronounced it like this, salatul fajr. So for the ta marbuta, if you do not pronounce a haraka at the end, then it will sound like a soft H, like the letter ha. But if you do pronounce its haraka, then it will be pronounced like the letter T, or the Arabic ta. So this is how the ta marbuta looks alone, and this is how it looks at the end of a connection. And now that we've learned two new letters, it's time to practice by completing the exercise. Let's try number 9 together. First, we identify the letter. This has two dots beneath, meaning it's the letter ya. So we're going to write a Y for the ya. Above the ya is a fatha, so we're going to write an A for the fatha. So the ya and fatha together would be pronounced ya, ya. The next letter is a wave-like shape with no dot, meaning this is the letter ha. So we're going to write a capital H for the sharp ha. Above the ha is a sukoon, meaning there's no haraka. So we're just going to pronounce the ha alone, which will sound like ha, ha. The next letter has two dots beneath, meaning again it's the letter ya. So we're going to write a Y for the ya. Above the ya is a fatha, so we're going to write an A for the fatha. So the ya and fatha together are pronounced ya, ya. And then finally at the very end, we see this shape here, which looks like the letter ya, but has no dots underneath. So as we just learned, this is the alif maqsura, which sounds like the letter alif. So we're going to write an A for the alif maqsura. So if we pronounce this entire word, it would be Yahya, Yahya. And this is how you spell the name of Prophet Yahya alayhi salam. So let's try one more together. Now one quick note when it comes to exercise 18, because the alif maqsura and ta marbuta only come at the end of words, we can only have one or the other for each example. So the first half of examples, numbers 1 through 16, all end with alif maqsura, whereas the second half of examples, numbers 17 through 32, all end with ta marbuta. But when it comes to the ta marbuta, for some of them I did write the haraka, indicating for those examples you should write the ta marbuta as a T, as a ta. But then I gave other examples where I did not write the haraka, indicating that you should pronounce those examples as ha, and just write the soft H. So let's do 26 together. First, we identify the letter. This wave shape with one dot beneath is the letter Jim. So we're going to write a J for the letter Jim. Above the Jim is a fatha, so we're going to write an A for the fatha. So together, this Jim and fatha would be pronounced ja, ja. Next, in between a connection, we see this shape with one dot above, meaning this is the letter noon. So we're going to write an N for the noon. Above the noon, we see a shadda with one line above it. So we're going to write another N for the shadda. And because the line is written above the shadda, that means it's a fatha. So we're going to write an A for the fatha. So altogether, this would be pronounced na, na. And then finally, at the end, we see the shape, which is a combination of the letter ha and ta, meaning this is the ta marbuta. Now, if we were not going to pronounce the haraka, we would just write it as a soft H, and we would be finished. However, there is a haraka written above it, so we're going to pronounce the haraka, and therefore the ta marbuta is not going to be pronounced as a ha, but rather it's going to be pronounced as a ta. So we're going to write a T for the ta marbuta. As for the haraka above it, it is a dhamma with tanween, so we're going to write a U for the dhamma and N for tanween. So the ta marbuta with tanween dhamma would be pronounced tun, tun. So if we pronounce this all together, it would be jannatun, jannatun. So that does it for this lesson. Jazakumullahu khairan. Make sure that you complete the exercise. And inshallah, there's just 2 more lessons before you've learned all of the Arabic letters. Allah knows best. Keep up the great work. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.